So let's talk about perfectionism. As an artist, perfectionism is something we all go through. That feeling where your work isn't as good as it should be and stunting your ability to move forward. Maybe you're the type of perfectionist that spends longer than you should on a piece and overwork it because it has to be just right. Maybe you're the type where you're too scared to even start on projects, or if you do, they end up taking a while to go anywhere. And then things start to drag on because it has to be good enough. I think part of what causes this mental disconnect, where things we actually want to show off end up taking so long to get done, comes from not wanting people to see our mistakes. As artists, we can be our own worst critics, and start picking apart flaws in our work that most people would never even notice. Have you ever just seen an art piece on Twitter where the artist posts a revised version in the same thread and points it out in the caption? Most of the time, I can't even tell what was revised without going back and forth between the before and after. And that's because most of the time, the viewer isn't going to see what we see in our own work. Perfect is the enemy of good, and if you keep trying to overwork minute details that the average viewer is never going to notice, you're only hurting your own productivity. Hyperfixating on the end result can stop you from just creating. We don't let ourselves just experiment with ideas and have fun with the process because we just have to get it in one. Have you ever just randomly doodled, maybe on a scrap piece of paper, could be a sticky note, maybe next to your class notes or homework, and you end up really liking it even though you barely put much thought into it at all? You may even like it more than actual finished pieces you've spent hours on. This is because you went into that doodle with no sort of expectations and ended up creating something you really like by just letting yourself play around with an idea. Whereas when you're not too fond of a finished, fully rendered piece, it's because the end result didn't really match what you pictured in your head. You had high expectations and even a vision that you weren't quite able to execute. I think it's important to find a balance with having expectations for your work and just letting yourself create and experiment. It's pretty rare to get exactly what you envisioned on the paper, so don't put your expectations so high that you end up disappointing yourself with every finished piece. You can allow your art to be as good as it is now, and still let yourself improve at your own pace. These are thoughts that I know that I've really needed to reflect on, and maybe this helped one of you out there too. And to follow in line with the theming of this video, in the speed paint here I'm actually following a background painting tutorial, this one right here by Line Sensei. He does a ton of art tutorials if you want to check those out. They really help me a lot. And this one is really good for me because one thing I know I need to work on is backgrounds. If you want to see more of what I put out, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and I guess Blue Sky if you like the desert. That's about all I got for now. Bye.